My name is Matthew Bacoulis. I'm the offensive line coach at Augustana University, located in Sioux Falls, South Dakota. I've been coaching for 13 years. I played at the University of Buffalo, just like Coach Shields said. I got the awesome opportunity to play for Turner Gill. I had 5 offensive line coaches in 4 years at the University of Buffalo, so it's pretty crazy. I got to learn a lot of what I liked and a lot what I didn't. One thing that I was blessed as I walked away from the University of Buffalo was our pin pull scheme. I love this play. This is our bread and butter. This is day one. You ask any offensive lineman at Augustana University, when it matters, what are we going to call? Pin pull. I've been running this since, like I said, college, and then 13 years of coaching. I started out in 2010 at St. Olaf, which is Division III school, playing in the MIAC. Did that for 3 years, and I worked for my current head coach, Jerry Oshesky, who was a Wisconsin guy, played at Point. Doing that now, when he got the job from St. Olaf to Augustana, I was blessed enough for him to be able to take me along with him. So being with him for 13 years, I've only worked for one head coach. I know it's pretty rare and it's pretty interesting, but at the end of the day, when you find good people to work for, sometimes you choose to stay where you're at rather than going somewhere else. At Augustana, you know, we're a small liberal arts institution. We probably about have 2,000 kids. We are not at the full NCAA max in terms of scholarship allotment. So at Division II, we're allowed 36. We only have 32. And to be able to recruit kids, we need to recruit a high academic kid. Kids that are going to fit a certain profile for us. They're going to be able to handle the things that we need in terms of the academic rigors of Augustana University, as well as being able to grow in our weight room and grow in our system. I put a heavy premium on the center position. I played it. I do not look like it as 100 pounds ago. But for me, the center position is pretty big. And to be able to run this play, I utilize this a lot. Right? Our center is going to pull. We've had 2 centers in the last 10 years, or 3 centers in the last 10 years. 2 of them been All-American, 1 was a Remington Award winner. So for you to run this play, I highly suggest you have a very mobile center. We put a premium on it, and that's important to us. All right, so here's a little bit about that. These are the last 5 years of us playing. When we sit here and look at this play, we could talk about yards per attempt and all that good jazz, but efficiency is the job doing what we need it to do in order to do it when it's called to it. All right, so on first down, is it getting 4th and 10? Or is it getting 4 yards minimum? Second down, is it getting half? Third, is it converting? Right, that's how we measure efficiency. All right, and so for us, when we sit here and look at it, 4.8 yards a carry, 48% efficiency, I think it's pretty good for us. Is that where we're at? We need to strive to continue to move forward. But it's a good play for us, and we use it a lot. The base rules of this thing, we're going to run it to a tight end surface. It's 11-man. When you look at the drawing here, we're going to get 2 out on the surface, right? So we're going to be in our spread set, 11-hand. We're going to tell this tight end, the first and foremost I tell you guys is the 2 most important blocks are the tight end and the backside tackle. I've literally watched this play get pulled, people out in the surface. If you can't set the edge and get a guy pinned in, this play is useless, right? Because if the defense is allowed to wash itself over the top, make things happen, that's what makes it difficult for this play to work. But for us, we've put a lot of nuance and a lot of reads that put it in our players' minds, okay? So the first thing that we come up before we ID this play is the tight end's going to come up whether or not he can block this guy. That's the first and foremost. As soon as we come up to this play, we come spread right turbo. Can the tight end block this guy? If the tight end cannot block this guy, we're getting out of this play. And we're not going to do the whole Monday Night Football, quarterback comes off his pedestal, comes up telling changing plays, because what's the defense going to do, right? You check the check. So I'm going to do it from a place of cover. I'm going to keep you where you want. All right? So we're going to communicate to the back that we're not pulling anymore. We're getting in a wide zone. If I can't get you, how we make that definition is we tell the tight end, especially our young cats, right? When they first come into the program, the definition is that elbow. If the defensive lineman is not inside your elbow to the inside gap, get out of the play. Right? We won't run this play. It's stupid to try and get yourself. If he can't set the edge, why do it? Right? And I'll tell you, we communicate it by tapping the back. We tap our ass. And you'll say, well, coach, won't your defense pick up on you tapping your ass? No, it's the same way we talk about protections. So that it has a meaning for the running backs in run, and it has a meaning for the running backs in pass pro. So you can't tell that we're checking this play, and I've done it under the guise of we're okay, but I put that kid in a chance to be successful. So once we've identified whether or not this cat can get this play started, we start looking at the front. We make a Dakota call. If there's a 3 technique to the front side, we make a Dakota. That means that the play side guard is our first puller. First puller has the fat, first alley threat. Then we have our second puller ID, which is our center. Now we've gotten to the next level of this play that we sit there and say between the center and the backside guard, they have a me-you call. Most teams, really good defensive line coaches, you heard two great ones right before me, talk about when you get pistol back or whatnot, they're going to start cheating fronts, right? So now you're going to see that nose close that center. Why work hard? Tell that guard to come cut off on the backside on the nose, give up your center, switch the puller, pull the backside. So when we run a Dakota, they're going to pull the guard, and then they're going to reach between, or the two is going to find the leverage off of him, who's going to pull out of there. Most of the times it's our center because most teams aren't going to give it to us out of dot that we can run it back with the inside zone weak, things of that nature. Yes, Coach? Yeah, I teach it, but I can't do it in practice. So that's why I said, like, just give it up. You know, if we can't cut at practice, just like I can't cut out on the perimeter either. So my guys have to be able to block, engage, and be able to get guys in phone boosts and then extend their point of contact 2 yards when they make it. And then this backside tackle, this guy right here, I tell him he's going to run at the heels of the next down defender passes play side gap. That's the nose. So he has to put his angle of departure at the heels of that nose. So when this guard, right, they ran a Dakota, the center calls a me, center and guard are out. That guard is going to sit here and get wide reach footwork in order to get that nose cut across. But what that tackle needs to do is block and get himself at an angle of departure where right now that nose's heels are covering up his angle. So as soon as that nose comes upfield, right, he comes upfield, now my angle gets in his vapor, and now I'm going to run to where this linebacker is going, not where he is. Right? So using geometry to allow these guys are much more athletic than some of my cats to be able to put him on an angle departure to work himself up. On the edge out of this 2x2 set, we tell the single receiver here, you've got jack rules. Too high, crack the safety, because I already know that this guy's accounted for because he's the first alley threat. But now what happens if you see two cut? Bring that. Corner's going to come hot right now. We have him accounted for. You sit here and see one high. Now he stays true. He stays on. And it's a simple read for the wide receivers. Two high, jack, one high, stay. All right? And that's just in with Dakota. Now I'll tell you this, further along with what we've done, we've actually gotten to the point where now we read the first linebacker in the box for leverage. Because most teams, when they see us hop into this bad boy, they know we're running. So those linebackers are starting to stack tackles. They're starting to trigger. They're reading through the triangle. Well, now we've been able to develop it where we have a secondary and third call where we're still in Dakota, but now we can pull the tackle. Change the read of the defensive lineman, right? But that's just the blocking scheme in a whole. When we look at the tight end, right? So the play is, can you get it started? We talked about the elbows, the parameters, in-man line of scrimmage, can you get it started? The pullers. First puller always has the first eye threat. Second puller is always reaching the first guy inside the box at the second level. So if my first puller's kicking, my second puller's usually wrapping, but he's got to be able to find a level to step on the toes of the linebacker and explode up. The running back for us, we speak in FAR, footwork, angle, and read. The running back, whether he's in dot, we can do this in gun. He's going to take a wide angle footwork. He's going to aim 1.5 yards outside of our tight end, okay? And then his read is he's going to set up the first puller's block. So he's going to shoot this wide, and he's going to force that guy to continue to be a wall player. Then that guard is going to come through, smoke him, and with him under the standing that he's got to read the second puller. He sets up one, he reads two. And when this play gets really juicy and slick, he goes out, up, and it makes like bang, like a Z. It looks just like that. Wide, up, and back out to the sideline. Sideline is where this play goes. All right, and then I told you about the wide receivers. So you'll see us here, we're in gun. We should be having, like I said, we should have the guard in the center. In this situation, I got the guard coming out. He should be smoking. I don't like how he approached this linebacker. I think it's horse. He's pulling right, he should hit right. So he should have his helmet upfield and blasting this dude. The center should be anticipating that his numbers are like a stop sign for him. If I see my boy's numbers, I need to start working my eyes back to where I need to go, all right? And now as you sit here and pull through, the center doesn't touch. Now it's a 20-yard touchdown. Get him out and going. Like I said, even on this play, I don't like how this looks, but my left tackle gets the will. Pop, pop, back's patient. Jack rules, gone.
Coach, do you ever read this with like an RPO or even?
Oh, I got all those at the end. I'll show you the fun the fun stuff, we'll add jet motion, we'll add screens, we'll lock this, and we'll actually read the front side safety as he's coming across, and if that safety wants to hump down, we're going to bang a glance right off his toes. Like we have PAPs, there's a lot of fun things that we dance this up, and because it's important to us, right? You saw it, 90 of our 800 plays, almost 10%, came from just running this play. That doesn't even talk about the beautiful things that we added on top of that. All the PAPs, the nakeds. And if you're a linebacker, right, and you're reading through your keys and we run naked, you see my guys pull, you're humping downhill now. It buys everybody and we're just out the door. Here's another Dakota look, and this is all from this past year. So I like my left guard. He's coming around the horn, pull left, hit left. Center now is getting up to the safety. We get the backside will. There's the back again. Nice and patient coming through. Our guys, when they pull, and I heard Mike Bloomergan talk about this. He was at Stanford when I heard him talk about it, and they're a big power gap scheme team, and now he's the head coach of Rice. Long time respected offensive line coach. When I teach this play, we teach the skip pull, okay? But I'm not going to sit here and bang my head against the wall and tell my kids if they skip pull. If the kid can't skip pull, just open and run. Whatever's more athletic for you, what are you going to get out there? If Jimmy can't skip pull, then stop telling Jimmy to skip pull. Get him to get out and run, right? And if Jimmy can't run, then Jimmy can't play this play, right? So at least that much. If I know Jimmy can run, we'll find a way in which we need you to get him going, all right? So skip pull or open pull, do not care. Get out, get depth, and get gone. See now my center, he should have taken this one. He should have given it up to his guard. I don't like this pull. This is soft, that's soft. Still dancing in the secondary. So now we've come up with, now you see under front, right? So now the nose is to the front side. Now they want to play games under front. More for me is more pressure. Now we make a Carolina call. Now it's the play side puller. The first puller is the tackle. Now it's going to be a me-you call between the front side guard and the center. Why? Because the leverage of what's allowing us to happen. I ain't trying to get run through. I'm not trying to elongate these splits to be able to sit here and roll. So now I'm going to get this tackle on scene. Anytime we get play side pressure, we're probably going to pull the tackle. Why? Because I want to get him on there now. Most guys want to keep it going where the guard will still go. It'll take forever. And if those linebackers are doing a really good job of cutting the hair 2.5 yards off the tight end's ass and coming to attack me right now, well, he's going to have 6'6", 280 pounds hitting him before he gets a second step into the ground. Yes, sir. Why don't I crack the stand? I don't want it. I want him to flow. I want him kicked. These guys dick this play up more than anything, these wide receivers. When it's 3-by-1 for us and we see this, I can't stand when they get involved. I get mad because when they come and crack it, coach, if I'm sending him and I know he's accounted for the plus and I send him like this, most of the times you're spooking the guy to me. I don't want you to spook him to me. I want that guy going, it's running wide. I got to get this thing back into me so I can get it hit. So when we get it kicked, that's what I'm fine. But when you get him closer to me, it muddles all this and then it allows old boy to come downhill and make plays. When in reality, if you just left them alone, don't care, up, out, here, we're gone. No. Go get safety. Absolutely. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. And then this is all we can get, because under front is basically odd, right? So when you sit there and look at it, sometimes they want to cover us up. I'll pull these two and I'll jumbo the backside. So I'll tell the left guard, left tackle, and center, they're all on their own little mini-man zone to handle movement up to the weak side will. And then we'll tell off of this linebacker, sometimes I'll just shoot him straight to the mic and let him go. If we know we're a heavy run-through team, the thing that I'm trying to do is educate these kids like computers. That's how the offensive linemen are built at Augustana. It is a if this, then this scenario. And if it don't fall into that scenario, get it in the wide zone. Live to fight another day, gap it and go. Like, don't even try to bother with it because it's meant for specific looks. And then teams want to get cute, and I could talk about stuff off the backside where now you're like, okay. Now games where we'll sit here and see these guys 6-eye and chop and pop with the defensive end, right? So they'll spear us down and loop us over. That's where we start seeing this backer will give you that tell. And if that backer starts to cheat over, immediately right now, that guard, if that tackle feels like he's being tight, he's going to take him. Because now when this guy reaches and this guy spikes and he loops over, they actually can pass it like ships in the night. Yes?
What's the difference between, for the running backs,
The tap. The only thing they got to know is no one's pulling.
What is the back changing his aiming point?
Nope, he just knows pulling, and now he's pushing wide to find vertical.
Do you mind if I ask how you call it then?
What do you mean? The play?
Yeah.
Spread right turbo.
And
And there's no kill. The quarterback is not doing the whole, hey, we're going to kill. No, it's the right tackle. The tight end says, I can't do this shit. So the right tackle's sitting right here.
and everybody knows.
Everybody knows. They call New York. New York, we're done. Huh? Running right. Gapping right. But I'm just saying, like, it makes no sense if we think heavy movement's on, and we've seen a heavy band, like, obviously within our kids and our system, where we've shown there's indicators. Defense is always going to let you know, are you reading the strong, like, is the boundary safety telling you something's up? Is the corner leverage below the hard deck? Are the D linemen off levels? Is he a read stance versus a penetrating stance? These kids are being taught how to sit here right now, and the tight end's the first one. If I can't reach this guy or establish the defensive or the end of the line of scrimmage, I'm getting out of the play. And you live to fight another day. So sometimes we had a young first tight end this past year. We New Yorked a couple calls that we shouldn't have. We took a 1-yard gain, but I didn't take a 4-yard loss. So sometimes it's more the long game with it to come back. Because the thing is, where I'm trying to train these kids and what we do, I'm the one paid to have the answers, but if I can educate them in the moment, I don't have to wait till they come off to the sideline to make the adjustment. If they know the rules, they're educated into the system, they have parameters that they can make calls, it gives them buy-in, it's teaching them the game of football, and now they're operating at a higher clip. I'm blessed to do that because we're at college level, so we get the kids now and then, but I still only get them 8 hours, and I'll be honest with you, we don't even meet before practice. I don't meet with the offensive line before practice. I'm the video coordinator and I teach a weightlifting class. I use Google Classroom. I send everything they need on Google. I give them respect their time. Google Classroom, I get the practice plan to them, notes that they need, all of that. They have it while they're eating lunch in the calf. Then they're out 20 minutes earlier than everybody else and they go walk through stuff. I'd rather get walk-through time with them on the field than meeting with them. So half the time kids are coming from class and they're like, oh, what'd I miss? I didn't get taped, my knee brace. It's just a waste. So why not give them the headspace to be able to be confident in what they're trying to accomplish, get them the knowledge early. We have it scripted. So now they've got it, they're programmed, they're growing, and then you get to use the huddle play tools and shit like that. You can show them up looks. Hey, this week we're going to Dakota that. This week we're going to Carolina that. This week New York, get it out, right? And just giving them the tools to make the answers. Hopefully that answered some questions. I'm sorry if I'm long-winded. So with the Carolina call, that allows us for the tight end to sit here and make a tight, loose call, which is where the Sam is. If that Sam wants to cheat his ass over here and this Mike is starting to stack me in the C, he ain't going to pull to the invert because the Mike's telling you as soon as he sees a pull, he's coming right down that alley. So what's he do? He wraps it, and we'll go get the longer cat. It's allowing the defense to put where you want. I want you to stay where you're at. Don't care. Just put you where you're at, and we're gone.
Coach, do you ever double crack that and go out of that trio look? Do you ever double crack that and push that to the corner?
No. I don't want. I love these guys, right? These guys.
No, you
don't.
You
Hey,
those guys.
don't what I'm trying to do right here. Get out of the way. And if the quarterback wants to, he can just say, "Hey, bubble," and get it out to you. I want them. Yeah. I want them on safeties and corners.
Really hard C gap. You're gonna bounce that thing.
Yeah, it'll go. But he should be on scene. And if that's a pressure look, it automatically triggers his pull. Because if you're pressuring, right, what are these guys doing? Slanting or moving weak. So get the guy on scene quicker. That is open and expands that lane and allows us to get downhill.
Do you see it at your level where the corner is maybe the less aggressive cat?
No. These corners want to get big and busy with us. They want to. But here's the thing, and I play it like, so with us, there's an old Marshawn Lynch YouTube video about how he talks about Seattle. He's just running through a face over and over and over and over. And if your defensive coordinator is going to keep telling you to go up against 300 pounds, at some point either you're going to break or you're going to stop. Right? Either I'm going to physically laminate you out of the play, or next time I come through, you're just going to let me get it. And that's, if you're pulling with that mentality over and over and over and over and run through him, that kid's paid to cover. He ain't paid to tackle. So I want to hit him hard every time. And see, that's even with the thing on the backside here with the guard. So they're trying to reach it, and he's off because these two are what we call a swap here, and his angle should be here to this cat. Because if they pop it, he should be able to work his way up and transfer. But we get the two onto where we're out. Now you get the center or tackle to finish. Again, big play. Now you see the tackle pulling out, getting on scene.
So your tackle went in the end there, right?
He went first high threat. That's the corner. Right, so you got the down, because some of these cats want to get in there now. So yeah, that's fine. Cool beans. Lock it, rock it, and let's move. So now we also have the blessing of being a 12 personnel team, right? So we've got two really good ones, and this is where I tell them, you ever get three backers in the box, you take the pair to two, and we'll pull for these. It gives us the numbers, right? So for us, when we sit in there, we're still getting guys out. We're still making it shake. Now we're just adding the U, moving counts back, right? This is the you can get realistically. 1 high, 8 right there. But as long, and this is where we start playing the game. It can be a me-you between these two. Now you'll see us run more of this where now we'll reach with the 3, tackle will pop the strong safety, center still coming around. Absolutely, I'm not running New York on this. I got numbers. Now, game plan, we've told them that we can get, like, I shouldn't say we don't do New York. We can convert this into our wide zone, but boss it. I don't like it. And we tried to do, like, Oregon runs like a wide zone wham play, and it was just too much shit. So we told them, like, based off of like a week-to-week basis, if we really didn't like the look or it got like to the point where we weren't getting pullers that we liked, we could get out. We got in the duo. We just told them the tap meant duo. So like I'm still at tackle, still the same communication to the running back, and it's still being diffused by our ability to pass pro. So now you're sitting there seeing the tap. Now we're not running pin pull, but now I can get this into anything else I want it.
Can I ask this? When you tap, is that being communicated by the tight end across the rest of the line? Or
That's what a New York call does.
New York?
Yep. Or we can, like we've done, like if teams want to get cute, we've done East Coast, New York, Boston, Buffalo. It don't matter. It's still the same shit. For us, we're still going to get it to whatever we want. They don't. Hey, they're at Augustana. They better. Right? So you see him bump down. We're playing a 1 high look. Bing, bang, bong. Run, Rudy. So here we go again, pulling out for 2. Should have kept it outside, would have scored. Those are really good pulls. This is our Remington Award winner in 2019. I like that. I just wanted to see him just smash them and finish them. Right, and so now if you talk about like 3-4, like odd front teams, like we still call this against odd front, and if we ever get the true bear, we'll get out of it. Now they muck this up and they're pull 2, and in reality they don't need to, but we still get it out. Which is goofy, is how this worked out, I'll never know. But you still got the 2 sorting out. Here's a good one here where we just made a singular call. We got a bear front. And so this year, in fact, in the spring, we've gone to the fact that if we get a true TNT, what we call TNT front, we'll only pull 1. So we'll just make a Georgia call, and that's it. So now this is our running back as a sophomore. He played as a true freshman. He just needs to have a little more patience, and he's got a home run. He runs right up my left guard's ass and doesn't even give himself a chance. So now it's still cracking the safety, right? This cat is a safety, not anyone here. Playing with the fun to zip it, coming around. He needs to have better pull angle to get engaged, but if he's sitting in the pocket knowing he's going to push him out anyway, there's the honey hole 100 miles an hour. It's more disgusting on the tight. A lot of meat left on the bone. Stuff we have to clean up this year if we want to get bigger than where we're at. Like, just go, buddy. Get your lid on that side and go run, bump your head up there. Please and thank you. So we can also do this out of our up tempo. We operate in a stoplight. So we've got red for regular. We never really huddle unless we're in a milk situation. Yellow means we'll just operate in fastballs, right? So we'll have one word calls and one signal that illuminates the entire play. Right, so the kids come up, we can play with tempo, so we're gonna mess with that defensive coordinator's flow of the game. If he's got a flow for the personnel, we can get into our one-word offense, which means everything. Like they could come up right now, and if they hear Terry is tray left, or tray to the field, pin pull to the field. Everyone knows that, Terry. And we just give them the signal, we're out and going about, and it doesn't matter. And if they come up quick and the defense ain't set, is it in the parameters of who can pull? Is it defined? If it's not, what do? Get in New York, go to wide zone, and we move on. So here's probably one of the, yes, what happens when you guys dick it up? Get out of there. Because that's who he should have had. This one's old, and that's why I put it on there. So then, odd front right, so these two are pulling around the horn. He should be going here, he should be going for the invert, and then that slot receiver should be smacking the safety. They're jumboing this. They should be getting wide to here. But now that wide receiver dicks it all up. So now he freaks out and then block a soul.
You might have said, Coach, I apologize if you did. If your center's a better puller than your left guard in this situation, will you just down pull?
Yeah, when he's fully covered, though, that's where we make this, because there's a high propensity for them to move. When he's truly covered, we'll just typically, if they can't get them both out, we'll pull one, right? But we've started messing with this spring of making two guards pull when we see zero and like a bare front. Because I still want to get the advantage, but I'm telling him to pull to go to there. I'm not asking him to pull to go strong, because I should have the numbers if I have a 7-man box and I still have hangers, right? The beauty of this play and why I like it so much is it accounts for the plus player, because we're always cutting the defensive end. Yes, sir. This one? Oh. Right here? He should be popping this guy right now. Get it started. Rip and wrap. Yep. Okay. So you're saying they stick it the whole front that way, and he. Okay, so they've got a pressure alignment. The guy walks off. Okay. Yes, sir. Yep. Okay. Correct. Exactly. And that's why in the longest time why I don't do the double guard. But we've tried to change some shit up, because historically we've always told these three they're responsible for that triangle because of that. So if they're sticking it to an underfront, right, then that should give him the free pass to here. and they're still pulling the 2. And because this guy's stacking him right now, he's not going to that invert because this guy has a high chance of coming off this edge.
And you're telling the man center's cutting second level play.
He can, but we don't get to do it much, so they have to learn how to do it without it. It's not an everything deal for them to sit there and say they have to cut.
But it's one of those, like, I like the if in the net situation.
Yes, sir. But
If that zero goes away right now, bam.
goes to my left right now. Center's on that. That's yours. Because he ain't pulling.
Because now, because speaking, but now I'm saying, all right, now we set the edge from the zero. Because that run now is going to have to cut back, right?
Right, but respectfully, how are you doing that? So if you're doing it from an under, if you're pressuring, right, most teams, they're going to tell that defensive end to loosen his alignment to keep the play inside of them if they're going to stick the front across my face, right? But what's that tight end's rule? If I can't reach him, get out of the play. Someone's got to tell me that you can't align him inside the tight end and tell me you're going to rack that front because you're short gaps. And so if most teams that do that to us that try, they jet the end. But at that point, I ain't messing with it anymore because I know that there's a high opportunity for run. So if you have to jet that defensive end to cap your movement so that it comes back, I'm not playing anymore into that. I'm going in the inside zone, or not a wide zone for me.
So that would be 2 out of this.
Yes, sir. But it gets me into something that's better than me trying to pull people with the movement and then I get short.
No doubt.
And that's why, but here's where I'm saying, Coach, and that's that's an adjustment we've seen that's happened, but that's why I'm trying to educate these kids to make that adjustment in the moment. So I ain't sitting here going, hey, they got us that time, is a great call. If this, then this, and if it don't fit, just get us to a zone gap, covered, uncovered, and move forward. Hey, whoever's got the pen last, baby, that's how it is, right? So I'm trying to give my boys the pen before you get a chance to get yours. So this tackle comes and wraps it tight because he's going to trigger as soon as he sees pull through. Bop, right there. And I said, wide receivers getting in the way. Handsome princes. Love them to catch balls. So now you want to talk about the fun. So jet motion, we'll shift and trade. We can look like Boise if we want. We can go fast with the jet motions or, jet motion. We can short motion to create a lead blocker or run that kind of zap and zin where we can come crack the safety. We run this with the QB. We'll flare the running back out. Just run it with the QB, create quads to the 3 side, and then just run it with him. We also like to set the defense up and play with their rules when they go off of running back alignments. We'll sit there and just give it to them and run same side toss. And then for everyone's fun play that I'm dancing with the devil, RPOs. You tell coaches, hey, I'd love some air support, and then everything gets a RPO tag. Right, so for us, right, we're running this. This guy's going to jet motion. We're going to run pin pull, but he's a post-snap read. If they don't roll with it, we'll throw the bubble. And this is all stuff from 2019. From 2021, this past season. Film cut off. Damn video coordinator should get fired. That's me. Same thing, now we're running it with the QB. This was 2019 for us. But like you can see right here, in this situation, they're going like, well, what the hell? Everybody's covered up. Well, okay, I'll gap it, I'll sort to here. We're going to down it, pin it. We're going to crack the safety, and I still got the guy for the corner. (2019) again. Now we try to tell the quarterback, be smart. Mr. Masoli, get yourself to the sideline, please. Don't cut up. You're going to get waxed. Headbutt alley. So then here's that same side toss, right? Now we're sitting there saying like, all right, for us to toss it though, I gotta lock the tackle. I gotta stay on this backside tackle if I'm gonna lock it, because I don't want that defensive end coming downhill. There's nothing holding them with the quarterback's boot path normally, right? So I get out, pull two, run your ass. This is my twos in the game at the moment. Get out and go, get out and go, get out and go, get out and go, get out and go. Hit somebody. Here's a fun one where we lock the tight end, bring a wide receiver off the edge, run him vertical for a Y pop. Same thing, 2021 for us. We're going to pin pull to the left. We're locking that tackle. Someone's got to honor his vertical. And then you just start playing with it, right? It's a simple thing. It's sitting there going flash lock. Put the back right. I don't like the pull. I'm very upset with my first year starting center. Get through his face, smash his face. Get out and go. Here's that RPO where we talked about right here. Now we're going to read the safety. If the safety inserts the box, we're going to throw it off his ear. Pull, pull. Night, night. Selfish. He should be pulling. Selfish. And then here's my favorite. So we tag this play. We can run it out of that 12 pairs look. We call it NASA. So basically what we're reading is these two wide receivers, one of them is going to run a now screen, and the quarterback's going to come up, and if he likes the presence off of that side, he's going to tell the offensive line hot or cold. He comes hot, hot, we're running the screen. I'm taking the backside guard and tackle, and now I'm running them out. So you watch the right tackle here erase this poor soul. Right, so they like the leverage. We had it. They've got everybody and their mom over here. So why run it into a look? Nope. Dead. Now, if this right guard did a better job of working his way to the safety and reading through the pull, right? So right now, just go cover him up, bro. Stop trying to position block him. This could be a house call. Here's a good one by our right guard and right tackle again. Run through somebody's face. Five yards, 6 yards, still completion. Get him out. And then here's the one where now we run off of that action, right? So now we've run the NASA. Now you're sitting there seeing like, oh, they're blocking for each other. They're blocking for each other. Now you got the pull. Now we just run the bypass. So they thought there was pressure, so they got out of it and just said, screw the fake. But this is off of this call. It was supposed to look like that NASA look. He just bypasses it this time and we go big. So I talk about drilling, pulling and whatnot. So I'm blessed that our head coach got me a nice love sled when we first got there at Augustana, so I needed to find ways to use it. Our everyday drills and how we do this is they've got a pull circuit for 5 minutes. So they all know what kind of pulls we run and the position in which they play and the pulls they use to execute. So to do this, they get 5 minutes and it's rapid fire right and left. So they could be using this on the backside of an exchange between the guard and tackle on inside zone. They could be using this as a power pull. They could be using this in their counter. They're just running and gunning through this fast as they can, flying through it. Had to find a way to use it, and instead of each other trying to be out there and hitting them, right, we get here and we roll through it. Another way that we'll use this drill is now I'll set up cones. So I'll have two guys with med balls. As soon as this guy clears the cone, he's going to define which way he's going to go. It's about getting them to step around, get depth around the pools, and then making sure that we can get through and engage, right? So I like to see his pads get a little bit lower, and I like to see his hands tighter and run through contact. So as they're sitting there working through this stuff, I want to see them play with fast fit on the front side of the pool, getting out and moving. When we sit here and if we go through this and it's just rapid fire left and right, then we add people in front of them. So now they got to read through the weeds. You got to find your guy as soon as you get depth. As soon as you're popping around, you've got to find that guy and see it and hit. I don't like that he's not bending. I don't like that he's playing too high to roll through this. This is better by Jay. Just get your lid out and accelerate through, right? And the centers are always snapping whatever they're doing. And they're not allowed to just put their hands up and grab and put it. They get blanked. They're sitting there and just put the ball down. They have it in their hands and they get to use it. They have to address the football every time in a drill. So these are ways that we get it rolling and moving around. That's my contact information. That's my cell, my Twitter, and my email if you guys need anything. If there are any questions, I'd like to open it to it.
That last drill you did, is that a pinch pulling thing on?
Oh, okay, yeah. So, okay, yeah. So at Augie, yeah, we got nice things and everything like this, but that's actually a GoPro on a painter stick. It gives us our boom shot, so I can get that thing 18 feet in the air, and it literally cost our head coach $450. And most guys got an old iPhone running around, so I get a kid, right? A kid that'll go sit there with this painter's pole, put it to the top, GoPro that's sitting on top. I got the angle down, and then he just sits there and clips it out for me. We'll use that for our end zone shot during practice because we got so much indie that we film with our coaching staff. And then because I found affordable ways to find more cameras, we actually were blessed to get a drone this year. I swear to God, if you can get a drone and make it shake, it's the best footage in the game. It's awesome. You can see vertical leverage, you can see depth. It's unreal just to see how, I can show you some of it, but how we utilize practice. Like we went into, so we have a dome that's in the city of Sioux Falls, and obviously, but we had to go inside. That's our drone. We're just flying it inside the bubble. We had to use the soccer field and whatnot, but flying that thing and drone, $1,800, DJ Maverick or DJ Mavic Air 2. Thing is crisp. Thing flies and it hovers, right? And the $1,800 is like the 3 battery pack, but like our DB, like our offensive staff won't watch any other camera. Like they get pissed when we get those South Dakota windy days where it's like 26 miles an hour is going to knock that sucker out of the sky, so I can't fly it, right? And if I suggest if you do have a drone and you're within an airport, you're going to have to go through to do it. It's not that big of a deal, but once you do it, you got to pretty click through it. But the footage is just unbelievable to be able to sit here and just, like in the drone, you would have thought that's a fixed camera, and that's that thing buzzing. 28 minutes on the life, and then we'll do, so here's a good look at it. So we'll go and do like some stuff with our defensive line. We'll call it like a half line skelly, where we'll put 3 offensive linemen out there. And now, like, but I'm not a complete to our D-line coach, where I'm not always sliding to him. You know what I'm saying? So sometimes I got him the man side, and then he's running games against man, and then sometimes I'm running slide. It just happens. But like for us and the drone footage, I mean that thing's just sitting right on top of you. Left guard, you got to go get in that gap. That wasn't supposed to be. It was supposed to be like I invented bread right now. But I mean, look at that. On our field, being able to run it, the vertical space, everything you can see, like our staff loves it. And like I said, and I got like, usually what ends up happening is I'll have like I start it, but then I usually have like an injured kid that's like been really good. And if you got one that's been out for the year, then they kind of run it and take it over. But that drone has been an MVP for us, right? I'd say that, coach, the painter stick, the drone, and then Google Classroom. If you can utilize this in any way, shape, or form, and I know I may be going long-winded, so I'm sorry, Tony and Tim, but this is the kind of stuff that evolve. Like I saw a lot of you guys talking about, you know, like if you're not evolving, right, you're just staying stagnant. And for me, with my guys, like the biggest thing I want to do is give them every bit of opportunity for them. So like I'm sending them, they've got practice plans, they've got the script, how practice looks. They usually get that no later than like 11 o'clock in the morning. I even have them do their film evaluations of the defensive linemen. They got to have 2 film evals. They submit it through Google Docs. Instead of them giving me a piece of paper, they say it's shipped to me by Thursday night, and then I quiz them when we're on the hotel on Friday. Right? And it's all that stuff has now gone digital for us. So it's made me a more efficient coach. I'm not having to, I've seen my guys perform more this year, especially after COVID, because COVID made us have to reinvent how we coach kids, right? Because we didn't get to be able to be with them all the time, or we didn't have enough meeting space. But now I'm actually be able to slim the amount of time that I work with them, put way more information in front of them. And then if you got kids that want to do it, it grows. And then like the first thing I ask the last thing I ask in all of our meetings with our players is, what can I do to be a better coach for you? And they said, Coach, the greatest thing you did this year was stop pre-practice meetings. Now, I cut them a deal. We don't meet before practice on Tuesday, Wednesdays, and Thursdays, but you got to give me a morning meeting at 6 o'clock a.m. on Tuesday for blitz and run. That's it. They get 45. They'd rather come in one day early in the mornings, and it's usually they get a young guy to bring donuts or something, right? They get 45-minute done, and then the rest of the week we're good. Everything's communicated through Huddle, my Google Classroom, whatever I'm doing. Any other questions?
Classroom stuff, is it like, how do, like, can you tell who accesses it? Like, if a kid's not open and stuff?
No, because we're it's off of a university package. So the only people that could see that are our IT, and our IT department can give 2 about tracking my Google Classroom's activity, right? How? Because it sends. But coach, but they have to submit it to me. So you can see right here when they go to opponent film review, I can see who turned it in. So it's short. I'm missing 2 guys. Someone got their ass kicked for that one. But I can see who turned it in, and I can assign it to kids, all of them. So sometimes I don't even assign some of the stuff to our non-varsity guys. Yeah.
Coach, do you incentivize some of that stuff, like drone film and that sort of stuff to injure kids? Like, how do you incentivize? How do you give them ownership of that?
So
We struggle with that.
I think if you really get it down to, I think that at the end of the day, it's getting the kids to buy back in and have passion for what they're doing, like, because it's their program, right? I can sit there and tell you we've had 4 All-Americans in 5 years, a Remington Award winner, back-to-back playoffs, the first NSIC championship in school history in 62 years. Like, 62 years of football, we've never won a conference championship, and we go bang that out this year, right? With new starters and new everything. But I honestly am a firm believer that those kids were in a positive headspace and they were committed to doing something together. So finding a way to attack that together. So we got this thing, like I found this company that does these chains, kind of like Mr. T style, right? And I put our emblem, you saw that Viking warrior with the double axe in the background. It's kind of like skull and bones. Put that sucker on it. And then for us with our finish, I don't just give kids grades. So like when you see our grades and how I do stuff, I'm not just attacking like the technique, it's everything that goes within the play. So a kid's 70%, it's like how Pro Football Focus attacks it. If I got kids grading out 100%, I should have the Intergalactic All-Stars out there, right? These kids should all be going first round. But the reality of it is, that's a playoff 9-win team, you know, that led the country without giving up a sack for 7 weeks, sitting there going, we're 78 to 81% in our grades. That's realistic. Right? And then I take away the incentivization of like physicality through that in their game grades. You don't get to boost your game grades. Your game grades are what you are, but I have a separate award in the chain for physicality. Are you finishing? We have a rule, if a kid scores in our offense, right? If you go and score a touchdown, coach, on a long play, that run, you're not allowed to celebrate with anybody else except for an offensive lineman. And then those 2 clowns, like out of those 5, I'm finding the first 2 that reach you. So they're running to sprint and celebrate with you, right? And then we've embraced that as an offense. So now the kids are bought in about celebrating. They're the first ones to celebrate. They got a pretty big bling chain for big hits and finishes. And then a little stuff when we're on the road in the hotel, our head coach lets the O-line eat first, you know, that kind of stuff.
What if you were an O-line coach get a manager to run a drone or run film or something like that, like how would you incentivize that to be
Oh,
part of the program?
yeah. So my video kids are volunteers that aren't even football players, but we won a championship and they got a ring, and they get swag. They get. Well, I'm saying, but here's my thing, Coach. Like, I'm sure you guys got extra shirts in the program. I'm sure some kid like Starbucks, throw a $10 card. Maybe take them out for lunch. I take my video kids at least twice a year out for lunch. Like something like that, because I can't pay them, right? Because I'm a Division II school, so I got some toys, but we don't got a lot of money for it. So I've got to find ways to give of myself to make sure that those people are bought in, because that support staff is huge. Now, some schools have that as work study, but if as a high school kid, I'd be getting them swag, like anything that your players get team issued, something like that, whether it's just a t-shirt, it's something that they can wear that shows that they're part of the program, but not in the same realm as your right tackle or your center, but they're still part of what you're doing. And then maybe a Starbucks gift card, or maybe you got a good rib joint in town. I don't know. You can find ways, if you really want, to throw some sugar on what they do for you and your program. Just a little creativity. Anybody else?
You talk about the, I think it was called the Jack system.
Yeah, Jack rules.
So Jack, so is that a post-snap reality type thing? So if we see spin,
He can. I mean, and here's the thing. I'd rather them err on the safeties, because at the end of the day, most teams are telling the running backs to run off of who anyway. So if I can get that guy 2-for-1 bought, and if he misses it and dicks it up one time, but that corner carried with him and he was running to go get a safety that ended up robbing down him, we ended up taking him anyway. I mean, the play is built to be handling a 1+ player. So if that safety spun down, and the corner played high, if there's no one in that alley, that's the first alley threat. So, I mean, that's where we tell those pullers, is they're coming around the horn, they got to read their clock. So I'm reading corner, no, he's carrying, bringing myself in, and I'm always, as a first puller, looking to engage to the sideline. Right? So that's how I'm reading my clock through. And then also, if I'm the first puller and I come around and I see color, well, we get the play started. If there's any leakage or bleeding, cut it, stop it. 2 yard, 3 yards is okay. Like I said, that's why for us, when we look at efficiency versus yards per carry, yeah, there's a lot of big plays on there, but there were also a lot of plays that stopped bleeding, or were 1 and 2 yards that go uncelebrated, but they took care of us. We don't have a ton of TFLs. And our defense all spring, where we play, they play the crush front. So they're going to exit the A's and B's, and they're up our ass all the time. Still find ways to run it. Anything else? Thank you, guys. Like I said, if you need anything,